Good everybody, Chris Farhi here from the Bayleys Insights and Data team. We've got Ankur Dakwale talking about the biggest news in New Zealand real estate. Somewhere super cool today, so whereabouts are we, Ankur?
Yeah, so we are at apartment 302, bar 308 Remuera Road in Remuera. So this is a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom apartment and comes with 2 car parks. It's minutes from the Remuera shops. It's got panoramic views of Sky Tower, Hobson Bay, North Head, Rangitoto, and even further beyond. It's a blue chip premium building, and if you guys do remember, we filmed here last year on the penthouse, which sold for a record-breaking price at auction. If you want to learn more about this place, please get in touch with Robert Ashton, Natasha Robinson, or Michael McGregor from the Bayleys Remuera and St. Heliers teams.
So kicking into the news, the big news from the past week was of course Cyclone Gabrielle. If you are affected, we hope that things are okay and that you've got insurance claims moving smoothly so far. In terms of an update on the event generally, a national state of emergency was declared. This was the 3rd time in history that it's occurred in New Zealand, the prior 2 being the Christchurch earthquake and the COVID-19 pandemic. Now as at 15 February, which is when we're filming, it's pretty widespread damage across various parts of the North Island. Areas that were hit particularly hard appear to be Coromandel, Gisborne and the Hawke's Bay. About 225,000 people without power right now, and there's about 2,500 people have been displaced by the event. So again, another big weather event, and just off the back of the Auckland floods as well. So yeah, it's been a pretty crazy time this summer.
Next up, we have REINZ that have released the latest housing market data for January 2023. It showed that the median house price is down from 790,000 to 762,500. So on a year-on-year, this is down 13.2%, about 16.2% down from the peak of the market. Now, the Auckland median house price is down from $1,045,000 to $940,000. Now, this was a large drop in the median house price for Auckland, but the house price index, which adjusts for quality, is only down slightly. Now, this might be because there's been a high proportion of 2-bedroom homes that were sold in Auckland in January. This might even show a resurgence of the first home buyer market that's coming back. January is typically quite a quiet month for the real estate market with generally lower number of sales, but this January was even quieter than that, and there's been a record low number of sales.
Yeah, real interesting because obviously coming through a softer market at the moment, January stats were unusually low even given the softer market. A couple of explanations flying around at the moment. One explanation was generally pretty poor weather for Auckland summer, which might have dragged Auckland's number of sales down. The other explanation is potentially the residual impact of the November 2022 Reserve Bank monetary policy statement, particularly around the big jump in the OCR and the talk of recession. Next up in New Zealand news, moving down to Dunedin, there's been a big tranche of properties proposed for rezoning from rural to residential. This will enable up to around 1,000 new homes to be built, and these changes are part of the Dunedin City Council's 2nd generation district plan, and Council's responding to a potential shortage of housing if they don't start to act now.
Now moving overseas, we have the latest US inflation figures that show a slight cooling in January. So the latest results show that the inflation in the US is 6.4% in January 2023. Now that's on an annual basis. The latest update is still a long way off from the Fed's target rate, which is 2%, but down from the 4-decade high, which was 9.1% last June.
Yes, there's been quite a bit of banter in the US market about inflation having passed its peak, given that they've now had 7 consecutive months of falling inflation rates. Next up, our global partner Knight Frank launched their latest Prime Global Cities Index for Q4 2022. Now, what this found was that generally price growth across most of the prime markets had slowed relative to prior assessments. This is mainly due to the impact of interest rates on the markets, weaker buyer sentiment and general sort of economic headwinds. 2 areas that are still showing strong growth are Dubai and Tokyo. Now, some of the explanations that are being presented for that are some of the new visa initiatives that are being pushed through, a shortage of prime stock, and general demand from the global ultra high net worth individuals who are going and picking up properties. Now, if you look at the other end of the index, you've got Frankfurt, Auckland and Wellington, which were showing the biggest decreases on a year-on-year basis.
Knight Frank have also launched their Asia Pacific residential review for the second half of 2022. Now, this is a review of the residential markets across Asia Pacific. And what they've noticed is a noticeable softer market conditions due to higher interest rates. 9 out of the 23 cities that are tracked are recording negative year-on-year price growth. Metro Manila is showing the strongest growth, actually at 24% year-on-year. Now, the outlook for 2023 in the Asia Pacific markets is likely to be weak until there's further clarity to where interest rates are going.
Yeah, interesting because you parallel that to New Zealand. One of the themes that start to come through in terms of local commentators is how now that long-term interest rates are starting to peak off, it's giving people a bit more clarity around the pathway for interest rates, and that's likely to lead more buyers back to the market. So I'm interested to see that reflected in a lot of other cities around Asia Pacific. And then finally, to wrap up, we've got our property of the week. So Ankur, what have you got for us this week?
Yeah, so I've got a pretty special one. This is 35 Ridgecrest in Wanaka. Now, this is a 4-bedroom main residence with a 2-bedroom and 2-bathroom apartment situated on 4,024 square meters of land. It's exquisite pool with outside entertaining areas, and it's located with both lake and mountain views. So if you want to learn more about this, please get in touch with Sharon Donnelly or Scott McGowan from Bayleys Wanaka.
Yeah, it's a real cool property. There's something super special. For me this week, I've got this property right here. So I've got apartment 302 at 308 Remuera Road in Remuera and of course Auckland. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2-car park apartment, minutes from Remuera shops, panoramic views over a lot of Auckland. So you've got Sky Tower, Hobson Bay, North Head, Rangitoto and beyond. And if you want to learn more about this, please contact Robert Ashton, Natasha Robinson, or Michael McGregor from the Bayleys Remuera and Bayleys St Heliers team. With that said, we'll wrap it up here. So massive thanks to the vendor for this property for hosting us, the team from Bayleys Remuera and Bayleys St Heliers. Big shout out to you. Thanks, Ankur.
Thanks, Chris.
And we'll see you next time. Ciao.
Yeah.